Dan Burfoot. I'm making this video to demonstrate a lightweight web application I built for a client of mine, Joe Payton. Joe is a pet store owner. He has a cool pet store in Maine called Scales and Tails. And he has a data management problem. His data management problem is caused by the fact that he has suppliers who are shown over here, Hagen, Philips, PFX, and they send him data each in their own format. Okay, so each of these suppliers has its own format that they distribute data in. Joe has to take that data and merge it together and maybe add in his own tweaks, updates, changes, and then upload the result to a point of sale system. So the final step of this app is downloading the POS result that goes into the point of sale system. And then once it's in his point of sale system, he can use it in the store and answer customer questions and figure out what the prices are supposed to be. So I'm doing this demo. This is the live system on the J.A. Payton zone of the WebWidget site. I'm not going to use that. I have a test installation over here. This user is test user. And what I've done is I've just copied over all the data from the live installation into this test user zone. So I can demonstrate it and make changes without impacting him. And I'm going to start by just showing the data upload process. So I'm going into one of the areas for the supplier. It's just showing all the records we have now. These are pet store products. These are like aquariums, shrimp, that kind of product. And one thing to notice, I'll just mention this quickly. You can see there's a couple of columns and fields here that are provided by Hagen. But then if you go into this other supplier, Pet Food Experts, it's a different set of data. So again, the format is different. So the supplier Philips also has their own format. This one has slightly fewer columns. So that's just to give you an idea of what the name of the game is here, that data merge problem. So I'm going to clear this data here and do an upload. I've got a file here from a while ago. And so that is just going to upload from the CSV into the system. So this data is now in the system and it's ready to go. Let me show you the price page. So the main screen here is the enterprise screen. And that is going to be a window onto all of the data from all the suppliers, as well as the extra data. And it's searchable by a variety of different formats. So if I know a brand I want to look at, say I want to look at Badlands Ranch brand. Okay, so here's all the data that came in from all of the suppliers for Badlands Ranch. Or if I want to go to Boyd Enterprises, here's all the suppliers for Boyd Enterprises. Now, one thing that's important is you can search. So let's say I want B. Are there any B products? Well, yeah, here's Bumble. Let's go even further in and drill down to Bumblebee. Okay, so I have one product with Bumblebee in the description. All those kinds of searches are gonna work. It's just gonna scan through and find the products that match that search field. And you can layer it together, although I'm not sure. You might, okay, so we got one hit. So for the brand answers and the search term B, we get one hit here. And of course there are other searches you can do. These are this is basically for PFX. So PFX organizes their products in a different format, and if you want to use that, if you want to search for that product type, frozen food patties, you can select that from the drop down, and it's going to show you the results there. Now, one thing I wanted to show is how you can update prices. So, first of all, so for this brand, Dogswell, there are multiple suppliers that provide this product. Okay, so this has been joined on a UPC code, and we know that these two suppliers with these two icons, Phillips and Hagen, supply that same product. So if we go into the info here, we can see here's the record for Phillips, here's the record for PFX. Phillips is got that little star because it's the lower price. Their price is $17.34. The PFX price is $17.71. So obviously we should buy from the lower price supplier. It's the same product. Now here's something that we can do, which is this area is the price control. So for a lot of these products, the owner, Joe, has not specified a price. So the price is coming from some form of logic that Joe hasn't touched. And in this case, it's the MSRP. So one of the suppliers gave an MSRP of $33.99, and we're going to take that as the price. Basically, price the thing the way the supplier recommended. Now, it is possible that we want to override that logic. So let's say we want to do a 50% markup. I think this is actually going to end up with a cheaper price. Okay, so we said we want a 50% markup. So it's taking the cost and adding 50% to get the final price there. If we don't like that, we can clear it. Let's say we just want to call it $35. Boom. User direct price, $35. Okay, so that is the way, well, that is one way the user can control the pricing info. And we see this icon has changed now. So this icon in this column, this little pin means we've set the direct price. So let's see what happens if we set a markup. So let's say the markup is 0.5. Then it's just a different icon. So you have to sort of know what those icons mean. Again, the owner, Joe, for this tool is using this system pretty intensively. So he knows all of these icons. We also have an option to do a bulk update. So let's say we just want to target these 5 bulk set markup, 0.75, 75% markup. So boom, we've got the set that markup for those 4 products that we checked. We can also, we can play around with the selection, and it'll be fine. So that can be useful in some situations. Again, the owner of this product, the owner of the store and the user of this product knows a lot about pricing and has his own ideas about how these prices should look like. Sometimes it gets deals from suppliers, salespeople, that kind of thing. Let's see. Okay, so another thing you can do from this screen is show the entire, this is the CSV result. So in order to understand that, let me go back to this screen and I'll just click download POS result. So this is downloading. Okay, that file that just got downloaded there is the let's see, what is the file name? point of sale result. All right. So this file I just downloaded has all the data in a CSV file, and it's big, right? So there's thousands of records in here. Scroll down, scroll up. It's also wide. There's a lot of columns in here. Many of the columns are not populated, but it's just information that potentially we would want to send to the point of sale system. And the point of sale system has its own format that it requires for us to format the upload in. So that approach is kind of an awkward, downloading it and then going into a different tool is a little bit awkward. So what you can do here, slightly less awkward, is just show the results of the CSV, and it's going to give you, all these columns. A lot of them are going to be empty again, but this can be useful for debugging. So that's what we use it for. So you can see here these columns: product name, SKU, product code, category, blah blah blah. Max reorder point. Those are the column names here. So it's using the same code to generate this table in the page as it does to generate that download. So yeah, again, that's useful for debugging. I wanted to show another piece of functionality. This is about external data sources. So sometimes the brands themselves, as opposed to the suppliers, generate data and publish data about their products. And that can be useful for the pet store owners. So I have one file here, Pet Food Experts. Sorry, that's not it. This is from Stella. There's a company called Stella and Chewy's, and they publish their data. So I uploaded that into this section. And we've got a couple fields here. The interesting one, I think, is the image. So why don't I search for this UPC and see what comes up. Okay. Oops, I've got to refresh. Refresh to pull in the new data from that upload. Okay, so what's coming in here is that image URL. Okay, so this thing is, so this image here has a URL that's getting pulled into the information here, as well as like the MSRP, the short description, long description, lots of other metadata about that product. That's from the manufacturer itself, as opposed to the supplier, the distributor. And if we show the CSV, this Salsify URL, Salsify is the product they use to store all these images. That Salsify URL is getting pulled into the download. So that will go into the CSV download and then get uploaded to the point of sale system, so that it's present in the point of sale. One final thing I wanted to point out is that this is a little bit on the side of technically a little bit in the weeds technologically, but one thing I can do is I can pull this data. So I'm saying I want to download the database to my local laptop, and it's all in one database called main. Sometimes I split them up into multiple databases for various reasons, but for this one, it's just one big database, and it's called main.SQLite. These are SQLite databases, so these are very it's a lightweight database, but it's very easy to use. It can scale up to a lot of data, and you can pull it down and then examine the results. So for example, this Phillips item is basically just the data from this Phillips table. And the most important table that captures the user data is the user price data. So I'll, you can say select star from user price, and it's going to tell you all of the records that you've placed in the user table. Now, the other thing you can do is you can make changes to the SQLite database and then send it back to the app. So maybe you have some data source you want to merge in manually. Maybe you have some other way of, maybe you have some Python scripts that you want to use on your own side to update the data. It's very easy to use Python and SQLite together. You can also do some analysis, so you can pull the SQLite data into like a pandas table in Python or a plotting library in Python, and then do a lot of analysis on your side. Okay, so I hope you enjoyed this demo. This tool, according to Joe, this tool has saved him hundreds of hours of work, and it's tedious, error-prone work. Sometimes he makes mistakes, sets the wrong data, accidentally deletes stuff, and just being able to do it all in one place in one tool is a huge time saving for him. And this app did not really take that much effort. I mean, it was probably in the order of 75 hours, 100 hours of my time. So that does not translate into a huge price tag. If you have problems like this, data management problems, data cleaning problems, I'd love to hear from you. I think there's a great chance that we could build a very simple app that will get the job done and save you a lot of time. Thanks for listening.